All right, everyone. So for today's video, I just wanted to quickly update you sa mga nagbago sa Citicore Energy REIT or CREIT na IPO. So I've been receiving a few requests kasi na i-update lang dahil yung previous video natin outdated na po yung mga details, no? So at the release of this video, wala pa po yung final price ng Citicore, but when we get that, I will release an updated video again with all the new pertinent information na nakuha natin para po makatulong na mas makapagdesisyon po kayo ng tama whether or not the CREIT IPO is something that you would like. Alright? So let's start, no? As always, with key details. So yung shares na mabebenta will be about 1 billion na primary common shares, 1.7 billion na secondary common shares, and for over allotment, that's 0.4 billion na secondary common shares. Now, we will discuss this more in a bit, but suffice to say for now na normal naman sa mga REITs na secondary common shares yung naibebenta as compared sa primary common shares. So whereas in a typical IPO, I might be more concerned with the ratio, in this particular instance, it's not as big of a deal. Right? Now, the new offer period will be from February 2 to February 8, 2022, with the new listing date being February 17, 2022. So, na-push back po siya, no, from yung initial natin na offer and listing date periods. And then, the tentative offer price is still at 3.15 pesos per share. Now, kapag lahat po ng shares na pinag-usapan natin kanina ay mabenta, yung public ownership float po will be at around 49%. Okay? Now, the joint global coordinator for CREIT or Citicore REIT will be Uni Capital Incorporated and BDO Capital and Investment Corp, with the lead underwriter being Uni Capital Inc., and yung joint lead local underwriters being BDO Capital and Investment Corp and PNB Capital and Investment Corp. Now, I think by now nagsasawa na kayo sa remind ko, no? But I still do it. Ang mga underwriters ay importante din po and should be part of your research when you're thinking of whether or not you want to avail of a particular IPO. Whether that's REIT, whether that's a normal IPO, whatever. Importante po yan. Kasi sila yung nagtutulak di ba? Sila yung nagko-commercial, sila yung nagma-marketing. So, their performance from the past could be an indicator of how well they do in the future. Now, wala naman pong underwriter na 100% ang hit rate. Meaning, lahat na lang ng binak nila lumipad. Wala naman pong ganon. Pero, try po natin maghanap ng mga underwriter na mas reliable, na mas maaasahan, na mas kampante kayo. Lalo na if you're a long-term investor. Okay? The way you do that is pwede po kayong mag-check sa PSE Edge. Okay? Do sa mga, ano na ba yung mga IPOs na naging ganito yung underwriter? Yes, it's tedious. Walang instant na kapag clinic mo, itong underwriter na ito yung mga ginawa niya. At the very least, ako personally, wala pa ako nahanap, no? Iniisa-isa ko pa rin. But you can do your research on PSE Edge or you can just Google yung mga names ng mga IPOs of the last 5 years, 7 years, or what have you. Hindi naman po yung ganong karami. Okay? More key details. So yung primary secondary share split natin will be 3367, no? As I said, hindi naman po siya malaking bagay for me kasi kunyari yung REIT, yung primary offer component niya was only 10%. And in fact, yung DDMPR or yung Double Dragon na REIT was purely, 'di ba? 100% secondary na shares, no? Walang primary common shares. Now, this info was taken from Mercado Barkada, so shout out lang po because I always want to give credit where credit is due. The proceeds from the IPO will be used to acquire property. Diba? Lahat ng primary proceeds. Tapos yung mga secondary proceeds, titignan pa po natin kung saan mapupunta yung perang yon. But usually sa mga ganitong situations, halo naman po yan na dagdag na pangbili ng properties, maybe pambayad ng mga utang, and so on. And then the projected dividend yields for this will be 5.7% in 2022 and then 6% in 2023. may nabasa ako na may na-mention si Ma'am April Tan from Call Financial na while this is okay, it is similar sa mga yields na ino-offer ng ibang mga REITs din. So baka yung mga clients, baka yung mga investors, isipin nila wala namang dahilan para lumipat or magdagdag because yung mga ino-offer na ngayon na mas kumbaga quote and quote sigurado na may capital appreciation na, baka sila yung mas okay na paglagyan pa kaysa na mag-i-invest ka sa unknown. Okay? But syempre, hindi pa po natin alam yon. Pinapaalam ko lang po sa inyo ano yung mga projected yields as of right now. Okay? Now, CREIT leases its land to solar power plants that are owned by Citicore affiliated companies. This will be our first non-office building na REIT. Na I realize na may iba pang REITs na lalabas, yung mga industrial, yun nga, yung central hub, no? Pero ito pa rin yung mauna. Now, CREIT already owns 5 properties with plans to acquire 2 additional properties that's detailed above that are leased out. So CREIT earns a base lease rate plus a variable lease rate that is equal to 50% of the incremental gross revenue earned by the lessee from any excess of its actual energy generation for the current fiscal year over its base revenue. Alright? So, before we go, iwanan ko lang kayo ng quote tungkol sa IPO, no? Sabi nga ni Tom Tolley, or I hope I'm pronouncing that right, Tali? Anyways, when the general market gets a cold, the IPO market gets pneumonia. It's that kind of relationship. Bakit ko ito sinasabi? I'm just saying this kasi aside from all the key details that we mentioned and glossed over, okay, it's important then to know ano yung general sentiment ng market before you jump into an IPO. Diba na-mention ka na numerous times before na typically kahit na lumipad pa yan, in most cases, hindi lahat there will always be exceptions. In most cases, bumabalik at bumabalik yung price either sa IPO price or minsan even lower. Kahit na yung mga nagliparan natin, yung mga Converge, Monde, they did pull back. They did trade lower than yung IPO price prior to pushing up. So, kailangan tansyahin din natin yung general sentiment ng market kasi kahit na gusto natin mag-invest, baka naman mabigyan tayo ng better opportunity at a lower price kaysa na ipipilit natin just for the sake na masabi lang na, oh, nakapasok ako from IPO. Okay? Kasi syempre ang IPO, wala pa tayong masandalan eh. Wala pang previous data or historical data na pwedeng sandalan for that company. So, umaasa tayo, medyo 50-50, no? Pichi-pichi tuloy, nagugutom na yata ako. Diba? Medyo 50-50, medyo sugal talaga. Alright? So guys, dito po nagtatapos yung video natin. I hope napagbigyan ko kayo do sa up-to-date information na hinihingi nyo with regards to CREIT. Rest assured, again, once na na-release na yung final details, we'll have another video detailing there and I'll give you my thoughts on whether or not this is an IPO that I would personally be interested in when the time comes. Okay? So guys, as always, maraming salamat po sa panonood. I really appreciate it. Good luck and happy trading!